Hey, what is up? This is Gordo, Juicy Hockey of Gordo. All right, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the fourth day of the 2024 Stanley Cup Playoffs. We got a lot of juicy hockey already. And I'll tell you this, boy, I am PO'd right now already. I mean, we're barely into these series already, but I am PO'd right now. But I got to tell you why I'm PO'd right now. It's because they're doing it again. Vegas Golden Knights using the LTIR for their gain and their game just to destroy every other opponent by using the salary cap restrictions with the long-term injury reserve. I mean, Mark Stone comes back within the first minute and a half or 2 minutes of the game one against the Dallas Stars, scores. And I'm like, what the hell is this? What the hell is this? The NHL needs to do a better job when it comes to the LTIR and the salary cap and the CBA when it comes up in 2026. This is getting ridiculous right now. As a hockey fan who's been in the game a long time, this is the Milli Vanilli of the NHL. How did this Vegas Golden Knights team gets away with everything? I'm just going to say this. They should be on double secret probation right now at this point. They should be at double secret probation and stop giving them free rides. This is ridiculous. And, if I was the commissioner of the NHL, I would put the death penalty on the franchise, make sure they don't have an entire draft, make sure they trade all their key assets away. And so this will never happen again. As in hockey, I mean, I grew up watching hockey my entire life. I've seen the expansion draft. We've seen, how the San Jose Sharks did. They made the playoffs in their third year in the 93-94 season. Then they started up in 91-92 season. And then the Ottawa and Tampa Bay. Ottawa made the playoffs in 96-97, took them 5 years. And then the Lightning took 4 years. And then Anaheim in Florida, for example, the Ducks made to the playoffs in their fourth year existence. And the Panthers made it to the Cup Finals in their third year of existence. And then you got Nashville. They make the playoffs until their sixth year. Atlanta until 2006-07 season. The Minnesota Wild made to the conference final in their third year, and Columbus waited until 2008 and 9. And and I'm gonna say this. This is getting really ridiculous right now. And Vegas has got all these weapons. Anthony Mantha, Noah Hannafin, Thomas Hurdle, and you bring, Mark Stone back. I'm sorry, but I'm telling you, that's how angry I am. And, Dallas clearly should have won that game. And this is getting really tiring. And you should have seen the boos, loud, very loud boos from the Dallas Star fans last night. I mean, loud. It's just getting really tiring and ridiculous to see, the Vegas Golden Knights cheat their way. They're lip syncing out there. They're the Milli Vanilli of the NHL. I mean, the first year, wow, what are the good odds of that? They basically Rain Man the whole system. And they lose the Cup Finals. But they absolutely we need a pit boss in the NHL so that this stuff will never happen again in the NHL. I mean, Vegas should be ashamed of themselves. And I know what the fans are going to be like. Yeah, we got a Stanley Cup. That Stanley Cup should be an asterisk right there. The Florida Panthers should have won the Cup last year. If it weren't for the injuries and the incompetent officiating, the Florida Panthers would have won the Stanley Cup. I mean, it was a 4-3 game. Dallas got robbed. We all know it. The Dallas Stars have the better goaltending. They got the better up front. But Vegas, boy, they cheat the system like they do in the house in their own casinos. They are straight up trash. They are a trashy organization, trashy fan base, fake, fake, fake. And I'll tell you, Mark Stone, if you pull this off again by making it to the Cup Finals again, like doing this, oh yeah, the NHL, if I was running the league, I would do an entire investigation and make sure you guys get a very strong punishment from the Board of Governors and all that. Everything. But now I want to get to focusing on the Edmonton Oilers and the LA Kings last night. That was a high-flying, fun game to watch. Connor McDavid, 5 assists. Zach Hyman, a hat trick and an assist. Man, Zach Hyman, I can't get enough of this guy. This guy is a bargain. What a sweet deal by the Edmonton Oilers. He was a 6th-round pick by the Florida Panthers in 2010. Man, I wish the Florida Panthers would have got him and signed him, but he wanted to go in college and finish his 4 years. But it was a costly trade, but, let's see what happens. But Zach Hyman clearly became the ultimate winner. And I'll say this. Zach Hyman, 50-plus goals this year for the first time in his career. This guy is a weapon. He's one of the juiciest hockey players out there. He's straight up juice. He's got the juice. Kick loose and kick off the Sunday shoes. This guy is unbelievable. And, Edmonton's got a lot of star power, with Leon Draisaitl, Adam Henrique, and Connor McDavid. You've got Darnell Nurse and Evan Bouchard. You've got a very dynamic team. Heck, Evander Kane's playing with the hernia issue all season long, and he's been playing well. You got Corey Perry there as well. This Edmonton Oilers team, I got to say this. I think they're going to be one of the fastest teams to ever make it to the conference finals in Stanley Cup playoff history. And I wouldn't be surprised. This team is deadly. They're fast. They got a very good goaltending skill. And I'm going to say this for Los Angeles Kings. LA's got a great set of players, good role players. And, my curiosity is for the offseason, they need a goaltender on the long term. And I wouldn't be surprised if, Calgary trades Markstrom to LA or New Jersey, whoever needs a goaltender. LA is got a very good restructured team. This wasn't a complete rebuild. This was a retool. And the LA Kings, this series is not over. I still have the Oilers winning that series in 6 games. And they are a wagon. Edmonton's got to be getting there. And I think it's a fun series to watch still. And then Islanders and Hurricanes. What a heartbreaker, If I were the New York Islanders right now, if I was Patrick Waugh, I would sit Varlamov off. Last year when the Panthers were struggling, with Alex Lyon, Lyon carried the load and made the playoffs. This is a similar situation, with Varlamov, carrying the load. Get Sorokin in net now. Get Sorokin in net right now, because a goalie change can make an impact in the series, just like what Bobrovsky did with the Florida Panthers last year. And the Islanders had a great lead, but, it's the old saying of the tortoise and the hare. The hare got too cocky, and the tortoise snuck his way in and win the game. And, you can't leave the gas pedal off. You got to keep chugging along. Chugga, 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 chew, chew, chew. Come on. The Islanders have to have an all or nothing situation to stay in this series and stay alive. And the Hurricanes, they have the best odds of winning the Stanley Cup. They've got every tool necessary. Goaltending is strong. They got a very good, strong two-way game. They're intense. They're gritty. They grind hard. And, if the Islanders can't get out of it, the Hurricane's going to struck the island, and the Islanders are going to be devastated with this travesty of a loss of the series. It's 2 years running, but the Islanders got to do something. But Carolina, they're becoming a category that it's described as like a sequel to their cup win in 2006. And it's going to be deadlier and lethal and crazier than the first. And now we'll go talk about the Boston Bruins and the Toronto Maple Leafs. This series is going to go back and forth. And I've seen the Maple Leafs, they've got a lot of star power. They're built for the series, but, I'm worried that, if Nylander's going to be playing or not. And you need your star power. You need to fight through these injury bugs. And the Maple Leafs, they made a great win last night. Austin Matthews with a goal and 2 assists, and JT coming along. That was a great win. Boston Bruins, you got a goalie controversy. It's going to be a very tough series. And I got to say, this is going to go 6 or 7 games. Toronto's going to win this series for the first time. They've beaten Boston in a Stanley Cup playoff series since 1958 or 59. But I'll say this, the Maple Leafs will finally win a series. And I'll tell you, Boston's goaltending depth, it's impressive, but we still got to figure out everything possible. The Bruins, they need to figure out who's going to be their starting goaltender for the rest of the series and the playoffs. I mean, you've got a very unique situation with two very good goaltenders in a situation that you've got to figure out who's going to win the series and the Stanley Cup. The Bruins have got two very good goaltenders. You've got two of the best goaltending tandems in the NHL with Omar and Swayman. And, it's a coin toss. These two goalies are a coin toss. They're very, very good. One of them almost went to LA in the trade deadline. And I see that Boston is going to make some loud noise, but Toronto, I believe the Toronto Maple Leafs will win the series in 7 games. And then there's going to be a lot of questions in the offseason and trades. And I wouldn't be surprised that Swayman or Omar, one of those two, gets traded in the offseason. And, Boston's in a very delicate situation right now. And now we got to go to the best rivalry in the Stanley Cup playoffs right now. It's the Sunshine State battle between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers. Very close theatric game 1, 3-2. And it was a hard-fought grit and grind game. The Panthers suffocated the Lightning and no strikes, except for, tying it up and scoring the second goal of the game with 7 seconds left in the third period. A tough break. And, this Panther team is much different from what they played against Tampa Bay in the playoffs 2 years ago, where the Panthers got swept by the Tampa Bay Lightning with no soul and effort. I got to say this. The Panthers are on a mission. I mean, the Tampa Bay Lightning, they're standing, but can they prevail? Like I said, I see the series going to 5 or 6 games. The Panthers have got a lot tougher and grittier. And, the Lightning, they've got their 2 Stanley Cups with Coop. They've been to the finals three in a row. But I think it's time to pass down the torch to the Florida Panthers. The Panthers are going to be owning the whole state of Florida. And, I like the way Barkov's been playing. Kachuk's been playing very well. Cousins and, I know Lomberg's not playing tonight, but this is going to be a hard-fought battle. The Panthers got the better depth. The Lightning, they've got some used cars in their lineup, but overall, I see that Florida, if they get this win, Tampa Bay's gonna have a tough time, getting a W at their barn. But you know how their barn is in Tampa, and it's gonna be a very hard, bloody battle still. And I gotta say, if Tampa Bay wins, tonight, it's on now. But if the Panthers win tonight, there's panic in Tampa Bay. And I got to tell you, the Panthers will strike you down and they will suffocate. They'll play that old time fashion hockey, where they play, like there's all or nothing, or like there's no tomorrow. Play like it's the last day you're alive. That's their mentality. They came so close last year, and I believe the Florida Panthers, they are on a mission right now. And now we're going to talk about the New York Rangers and the Washington Capitals so far. The Rangers got 3 quickies, the other day, and Washington got their 1, and Rempe played well. And, I know why the Capitals got Tom Wilson and Dylan McIlrath, because they want to kick the crap out of Matt Rempe, because Matt Rempe, he scored his first playoff goal, and he's today's Bob Probert, but, it's good. I think this battle is going to be quick and easy, and it's going to be like the death penalty, like lethal injection, gone. But I think the Capitals can get 1 game out of it. But the Rangers, it's destiny. 1994, they had the best record in the NHL, and they won the Cup. And no coincidence, because the Knicks are on that same mission as well in the NBA playoffs. And I'm going to say this. I believe that the Rangers will have an easy first 2 rounds, and then the conference finals, it's going to be a bloodbath. Whoever they play, it's going to be a bloodbath. There's no magical guarantee, but I think it's going to be a bloodbath, and it's not going to be the juiciest kind. It's not going to be like aged fine wine, but it's going to be a bloodbath. bath whoever the Rangers play against in the conference finals. I mean, the Capitals still have their experience and their talent, but they do not deserve to be here. I'm sorry. I mean, a lot of negative goals differential. I mean, the Red Wings would have had a bloody fight against them. The Penguins even would have a good chance against the New York Rangers. The Capitals, I mean, give credit to Charlie Lindgren, but this series is, almost to the point it's over. It's over. And then now we're going to talk about the Nashville Predators and Vancouver Canucks. Great back and forth game one. Nashville striking first, Vancouver, Nashville again, and and then Vancouver took care of the rest. And I'll say this, Vancouver, they got, their goaltending's hot right now. Thatcher Demko is very, very good. And, I like UC Soros. I think this is going to be a close series. Like I said, it will be another close one tonight. And I see Nashville and Vancouver going to be tied up 1-1. And it's going to be a rowdy barn on Wednesday or Thursday in Nashville. And I like what I see, and expect the unexpected. You're going to see a lot of grit and grind, and you're going to see, most unexpected hero winning this game. And now you've got, Colorado and Winnipeg. Boy, Winnipeg in Colorado game one was insane. It was 7-6. It was exciting. I got to tell you, the Jets fans pull the goalie chant. I mean, savage, straight up savagery, in the whiteout. That whiteout crowd, I mean, Winnipeg originated it back in the 80s, in the 86, 87 season. I mean, that fan base knows how to cheer. They're one of the smallest markets, but one of the biggest hearts of all professional sports. Winnipeg is one of the best sports markets, for small markets, who have the biggest heart. It's like Green Bay, basically, but you're in the NHL. And I tell you, everyone's got to play shutdown defense. I mean, it's 7-6. That was a close battle, close game. Nashville, I mean, Colorado, their goaltending is like they're in trouble. Colorado is in trouble with their goaltending. I mean, you got all the weapons up front and your back end, but Winnipeg's got a lot of grit and heart. And I gotta say, that was a juicy game. That was a very satisfying, flavorful game. And it was back and forth. And like I said, I think Winnipeg's going to win the series in 6 or 7 games. But, this is not going to be pretty. It's not going to be a pretty finish. Colorado's going to come back. And I wouldn't be surprised that this series would be tied at 1. I wouldn't be surprised. And like I said, it's going to be a very exciting, first round with these guys. And we'll be right back after these messages. All right, we are back. All right, this has been driving me nuts. Ever since a few weeks ago or last week that the Arizona Coyotes, they put down old Yeller in a coma for the next 3 to 5 years until they be reactivated again. So Salt Lake City, welcome to the NHL, welcome to the National. And I got to say, this is going to be a very awkward, interesting scenario. And Salt Lake City is going to be playing their games at the Delta Center where the Utah Jazz play. And the owner, Ryan Smith, is planning on to do a 2 to 3 phase renovation of the Delta Center to make sure it's up to NHL standards and all that stuff. Why couldn't the Arizona Coyotes, when they were playing at America West Arena, did that? They could have done that, and then we wouldn't be talking about it. But no, they didn't want to spend $30 to $35 million of doing the renovation, and it really cost them. It really cost the Coyotes a significant amount of money, and it really hurt them. It really hurt them in the long run. But we're going to see 33 teams in the NHL on a technicality. So there's 32 active and 1 inactive. So Alex Meruelo, he will be still on the board of governors as an observer, and he owns the history, the team colors, the naming rights, etc. of the Coyotes. So Salt Lake City, Utah will be, quote, an expansion franchise. So this is like the Cleveland Browns going to Baltimore scenario. And, the Seattle Supersonics, they should have done this years ago. They should have just said, okay, we want to keep our records and all that stuff in Seattle. And then Oklahoma City would be considered an expansion team. And then you would have been like, okay, new arena's built, reactivated, NBA. You should have done that. The NHL did a thing very clever once again. And I gotta tell you, this Arizona Coyotes franchise that going to Utah, it's gonna be a fun team to watch. Like I saw glimpses of talent and brilliance, and I wouldn't be surprised that this Coyote team is going to be, and this Utah team, I should say, they're going to be a very deadly, dangerous team in the next 3 years, 3 to 5 years. They've got a lot of youth. They got a lot of talent. I'll tell you, this is going to be no easy cakewalk. And I believe that, Salt Lake's going to be doing a lot of trades in the offseason, trading their draft picks and bringing in a ton of high skill free agents to make sure it becomes the Delta hub, I should say, for, the new Utah team. And the team name, it's going to be either a temporary name or they're going to do a bracket challenge. But, like the names, I think they should just go with the Utah Eagles or the Utah Grizzlies or the Venom or the Pioneers. The naming change and all that stuff, like, it's going to take this is all short notice. They got to get a team name. When Winnipeg got their team back, I knew they were going to be called the Winnipeg Jets, but you got to do it right. You got to pick out the right team colors, the right scheme that attracts the average sports fan, And I tell you, 27,000 deposited tickets already. Salt Lake is ready for an NHL team. Utah is one of the fastest growing economics in the United States, the city as well. And, I wouldn't be surprised baseball comes around in Utah and Major League Baseball. Utah is becoming this hub. It's amazing. Utah is going to be a very unique sports market for years to come. Like I said, it's still like people. I asked some people, like, they're saying, "Oh, there's 32 teams." I'm like, "Yeah, there's 33 on a technicality because Arizona's inactive." And for me, if I would love to do an expansion draft and just like a mock draft each month. It would be fun because I want to see if they can duplicate the Vegas Golden Knights expansion draft 2017 and the Seattle Krakens of the 2021. The expansion draft, and I want to see this Coyote team succeed when they come back from their hibernation coma, you should say. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised that they get this arena deal done. They need to get it done. They need to get the land by June 27th. And it's a great market still. It's a very good market. And I think Arizona deserves a real opportunity. The NHL should have just realized, like, hey, we made so many mistakes. We should have told the owners to redo some bits of the arena to make sure it's hockey capable at the first arena, to make sure there wasn't no drama for 15 years of a dysfunctional marriage or relationship and all. I guess, hey, there's more hockey out there. Playoff hockey's coming, more and more and more. Tonight, I gotta say, Florida Panthers, they've got to win this one tonight. I wouldn't be surprised that this one would be going to 2-0 Florida Panthers. And then you've got the Rangers and Capitals. And I wouldn't be surprised it's the Rangers winning this one. And, Colorado and Winnipeg, I think it's going to go back and forth again. But I'm going to go, Winnipeg. And for Nashville and Vancouver, I would love to see Nashville even the score for this matchup tonight. And I'll tell you, I'm looking at my chart right now. For the series statistics of the first round. Series lead situations, if you're 1-0, you got a winning percentage of 6.680, 2-0 series lead, 0.864 winning percentage, 3-0, .981 like winning percentage, 2-1 lead, .690. Nice. .905 when it's a 3-1 series lead. And then you got a 3-2 series lead, you got a .789. I mean, these records indicate that, the one who's got the winning, leading the series 1-0, that's a pretty strong indicator. And then the strongest one is a 3-0 series lead with a 202 over 4 against 4. I mean, and then Lloyd Christmas once said, "So you're telling me there's a chance?" Sort of, but I don't think you're gonna get enough out of it. And the lowest odds is the 2-1 series lead because it can go either way. 380 to 171 with a .690 winning percentage in records. And then when you're trailing the series, if you're down 1-0, you got .320 percentage. Then you've got a .136 with it. You're down 2-0, down 3-0. You're down .019. Then you've got a 2-1 trail. You've got a point. Your percentage is basically .310 and a .095 down 3-1 and down 3-2, .211. I mean, these odds, I gotta tell you, the best odds to come back are basically if you're down 1-0 or 2-1. The worst is basically you're down 3-0. I mean, look at the numbers here, people. This is all or nothing right now. I think that at the end of the day, that anything is possible in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Define all odds. Defy it all. I believe that any team could still win the Stanley Cup. I mean, there's a lot of haters out there who don't know the game, But like I said, the stats don't lie, and I don't lie. And overall, I think that we're going to see several more series going to be coming at, between the trailing 1-0 and down to 2-1. But likely we will see. I wouldn't be surprised that trailing 3-0, it would be, Washington Capitals against New York Rangers. But, who knows? Look at the numbers. The numbers don't lie. And, do your research and do your homework because, it's not about the moment now. You got to look back on everything on the stat sheet in the history books. Just tell everybody, there's always hope. There's always a chance. There's always an opportunity for a victory. The VICTORY. That's the victory for you. And certain teams are like, 2 down, 14 to go, 1 down, 15 to go. I mean, we're going to see a lot of fun hockey out there. All right. This has been Juicy Hockey with Gordo. Hope you enjoy the episode and enjoy this day of hockey on Tuesday, April 20. What is it again? Oh, yeah, 3rd. Jordan. I'm kidding. This is a hockey show. All right. Have a great rest of the day.